If you've walked the aisle and you've given your heart to God, and there wasn't a complete turnaround, a complete change, and you went back to the way that you were 5 minutes before you walked that aisle, something is wrong. He wasn't just as saying, I'm born again. He changed. I mean, I could have always been a Christian, considered myself too bad. If I was bad, I was bad. Besides, I was determined that I was going to get drugs no matter what had to be. Sure enough, by Monday night, I almost didn't know who I was anymore. So I made some local calls. It'd be like Tuesday morning because of legal police actions they were having up there. But that's too long for somebody on drugs as bad as I was. Now here he is stopping my drugs. It was all because a preacher took authority over the devil. Except that night, the ATF had heard that some illegal aliens were coming across the border. They called all the Border Patrol over, from the regular stations, and it put on reserve units. And a run of drugs. Everything was taken care of. We had paid off the Border Patrol. Besides, there's nothing wrong with drugs. I had to go over and drop off a kilo of it on his door just to teach him that the devil doesn't exist and I don't get my drugs from the devil and he can't stop me from getting drugs. One thing a demon does not like is prayer and fasting. Don't do that. I remember I've told dozens of witches, I'm going to pray and fast. When he was done, he says, now I'm going to pray and fast for you, Lance, until you get saved. And I don't know why I said it. I just, you're crazy. Get out of here. Don't do that. Don't do that. He turned around. He walked off. One thing that had intrigued me, I kept trying to convince myself that I had shut up to listen to him because he was so weird. But what it was simply he had taken authority over the demons and I had shut up and I had heard the whole thing. I went on upstairs, very shaken and not knowing why, very sick and not knowing why. I'd never felt like this in my life. I'd never come up against a Christian like this. Usually I said, I'm a witch, and they couldn't wait to find the nearest bomb shelter or crawl under the bed or get the straitjacket out. Well, something about my eyes back then, they never questioned when I said I was a witch. They just took off running. So I went upstairs, took out my drugs, my needle, did a fix. No problem. I had sent all the rest of my drugs out that night, big shipments that we had stored around the area, to other states because we had a huge shipment coming in that night. I said, boy, this will teach that dumb preacher. I'm just literally dying, eating away from him.